My name's Will Mills. I'm a senior youth and community worker here at MAP for Norwich and North Norfolk.
Did the school that you went to support you after you left to get qualifications?
Yes, there was information there at school if you knew who to go to and where to go to find it. But I wouldn't say our school actively helped us in finding any other opportunities outside of the usual university or college route. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that I found out that there are many other opportunities open to people of that age. So no, I had to find those out for myself.
What was your first experience in work after you left school?
I was working whilst I was still at school, but that was a Sunday job in a local bike shop. I've always been really into mountain biking and cycling, and that's what I wanted to do at that age. I wanted to run my own bike shop. My first full-time work experience, I worked as a cycle mechanic in a local bike shop here in Norwich.
Okay, what about kind of after that, going on to other jobs?
After that, I kind of got myself into a bit of a rut here in Norwich. I'd realised that the cycle trade and working in a bike shop wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. In fact, working in the workshop had almost put me off from ever seeing another mountain bike again. But I didn't know what I did want to do. I got a second job working in a pub, but I ended up spending most of my time and most of my money in that same pub. And so you can see I got myself into a bit of a rut with no real direction of where to go, until a friend of mine, a girlfriend I think at the time, found out about an adventure activities company called PGL, who work all over Europe I think, as well as the UK too. And they run adventurous activities for young people, I think from 12 years old upwards. There's sailing, canoeing, archery, abseiling. I'd done a little bit of kayaking before. I knew I couldn't carry on doing what I was doing in Norwich, although it took someone else to find this information for me to actually motivate me to do it. I contacted PGL and I went to work in the south of France as a canoe instructor for the next 6 months.
Were you inspired and wanting a job after your experience in the south of France?
Yeah, I think I really was. I knew at that point that I really enjoyed working in the outdoors, and when I came back from working in France I knew that I really enjoyed working with younger people and working to help younger people develop their opportunities. Yeah. What was the question?
Were you inspired and wanting a job after your experience?
Yeah. I decided at that time to go to university. I was fortunate enough to be able to do it at that time. And at university I studied a degree that was to do with my interest in the outdoors. Actually, since then it's been my interest in working with young people that stemmed from that work that I did abroad straight after high school, that has led me down the career path that I'm on now, and directly really has led me to this youth work position in MAP.
So would you say that you came back with useful qualifications from both the university and PGL?
Yeah, absolutely, both in their own different right. From university, the experience of analytical thinking, writing reports and things like that has been very useful, but actually I've used very little of the university qualifications that I studied. It's a very good experience, but directly the experience of working with young people as part of a team, helping younger people solve and address their problems whilst I was working in France, and just working in that close-knit team, hard-working environment has been the more valuable experience for me in my career since then.
So would you say that working for PGL in the south of France has made you a better person?
I would say it certainly turned my life around a little bit. It was a bit of a shock to the system when I returned from working in France and coming back to see all my same friends who were still doing the same thing to me that felt like a lifetime ago, and I certainly changed in that time and I was out there. I came back a more focused person, and I came back a more motivated person, and someone with an idea of what I enjoyed doing for work, and that was working with younger people. So in that way, it was a really positive experience. Yeah.
So where do you think you'd be now if it wasn't for PGL and the qualifications you gained?
I think it was a great start for me. It was a kick up the backside at the same time, and I'm sure I would have come to the same, if not similar, conclusions of what I enjoyed doing for work in the long run. But the fact is that I did that. It gave me an opportunity quite early on at the age of 19 to realise what I enjoyed doing, and I could follow on from there. I think if it hadn't been for making that decision and that person giving me the information to say, oh, by the way, you could go do this, rather than just staying in Norwich. If it hadn't been for that person, it would have taken me another couple of years or so before I realised what I wanted to do, and I'd be a couple of years behind where I am now, I guess. Yeah.